Aloha, this is Dianevich, and I want to talk today about a little bit of an intro about Orgazmik Meditation, which is a new class that I'm teaching now. Before I jump into what exactly is Orgazmik Meditation, how do you feel this optimistic shift? How do you have more zest for life? How do you feel like you're more intuitive and more connected with yourself and just in general having more fun? But first off, we got to say a little story so you can see where I was before I actually felt all of these great things and positive things. So if I would go back in time and tell myself something in the past when I started this journey into alternative healing, I would go back 11 years and tell myself this quote by Wayne Dyer. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Because back then I was stuck in this roller coaster of emotions, always overwhelmed and stressed by all the external situations that were happening in my life and impacted and triggered by judgments and criticisms from other people. And what that would happen with all of those situations is I developed chronic pain. I had autoimmune disease. I had tons of symptoms, including migraines, digestive issues, numbness to the right side of my body, getting to the point of being disabled, and tons of surgeries. Now, when I began to shift my perspective, and yes, it did start with meditation, it began to transition the way I saw things and I experienced everything that was happening around me. Now I'm going to give you a little tip, something that came up actually in a book that I've been reading this week, and that really brought some mental clarity as to how what I'm teaching now helps people access this unique part of themselves by letting go of everything that doesn't serve them anymore and surrendering. Because I have been told, I don't even know how many times over these 11 years that I needed to surrender and let things go and not be a control freak, because that is what I am. Type A personality has to take control and needs to do things perfectly, and everything needs to be aligned and awesome, and I need to get like an A++ on everything. Well, I had to learn to let that go. And what I learned and the journey is that there's 4 types of personalities that we'll deal with on a regular basis. And we've been dealing with this since we were little kids, since we were first born into this world. There is the interrogator, there's the intimidator, there's the person that is aloof or happy-go-lucky, and then there's the poor me. Now, it's tricky to figure out which one you are in certain situations because we can shift between various of these characters depending on who we're interacting with. So I realized yesterday that I have been mostly aloof throughout my life. I've always been known as this happy-go-lucky person who goes with the flow, yet inside, in my inner world, I was really pissed because I was going with the flow and allowing everybody to make decisions for me. And I really didn't want to be maybe going to this party or teaching this particular thing or doing this particular work for my boss. Whatever it may be, I would go with the flow. And inside, I was really holding on to those emotions, which manifest in your body as symptoms. Now, the other character that I was also is the poor me character. So when you have an intimidator in your life, or you've experienced something traumatic like I did when I was a little kid, you experience that intimidator with certain personalities or certain people that are in your life, and then you become the poor me. And that's when you become stuck in, oh, I have this headache, I have this pain, I don't feel well. And all of that does is it continues to manifest more of these symptoms in your body. I'm a registered nurse. Like, this took me a long time to figure out. I was stuck in that whole realm of medicine and only taking prescriptions, and this meant I was going outside of the box and finding ways that I could actually heal my body as opposed to get all of these side effects from all the medications that I was taking. So when I started, I actually took more than 13 medications. I had had more than 9 surgeries, and now we're at a point that yes, I only take 1 prescription for migraines whenever they occur, and they're very rare. So I used to be taking this medication almost every week, and now I only maybe take it once every couple months when all the other strategies that I use don't work. And typically they do, but it means that my stress is so high that I haven't been able to really relax and let go of the emotional and the physical root of the symptoms. So one of the things I teach about in all my classes is that all our symptoms are caused by an emotional and a physical root of some kind, meaning there's an emotional trigger that happened with a specific situation, conversation, confrontation that triggered a physical symptom in your body, and now you're holding this symptom, right? You're holding this symptom, this pain, this stress, this tension, this amount of toxins in that area, and it continues to get worse and worse until we develop disability, which is where I was going. So the right side of my body had actually lost function, and I was actually shrinking on that side. I was having nerve damage. Like, all of these things were continuing to build up because I allowed all of these emotions to stay inside of me and I wasn't releasing them. So orgasmic meditation is really, one, it starts with meditation. It starts with taking a break and making sure that you connect with yourself, that you relax, that you let go, and you use meditation to help you tap into the way it feels when you're having a joyful moment. And it also teaches you how to center yourself during a stressful situation so that you calm down your nervous system and boost your immune system while you're in that moment of stress that typically triggers your symptom. Now, that is what the basic one, orgasmic meditation, is about. I teach you how to breathe. I teach you how to center yourself and how to recognize when you're feeling really, really good, having a great moment. Maybe it's painting outside with your kid or throwing a ball, where you feel really joyous and you have all these happy emotions, to tap into that moment and feel a little longer, so that when you're stressed out and you do the same strategies to relax, you notice the shifts that happen in your body just by letting go and doing some simple breathing and simple counting activities. Now, the next phase is orgasmic release. Orgasmic release is actually guide you through a month of stress, of challenges and obstacles, and teach you the routines and the strategies that work for each emotion and how you can process that stress easier so that you don't hold on to the symptoms and create this chronic pain or chronic anxiety or chronic sense of overwhelm. And the last one is orgasmic sustained. And that's people that work with me more of a one-on-one basis, where I actually instruct them specifically on the situations and challenges that are really getting in their way and making them feel like they're stuck or frozen or overwhelmed and not able to get through the flow of the roller coaster ride. Because our lives do tend to feel like roller coaster rides sometimes. And if you notice and you really sit back and pay attention, a lot of the patterns are continuing to happen all the time because we're stuck in these particular characters that we play. So I had to really sit back and think about it yesterday and realize that I mostly played the aloof most of my life. But over the past few years, I've really shifted and given people my opinions and made boundaries in situations and places where I needed to set boundaries, and let's say I didn't want to go to a particular event. I had to start creating those boundaries for myself to begin to shift my character and begin to shift the way I felt in my physical body. And the beautiful things that happen as you begin to let go of the stress, begin to stop controlling situations, you see this shift and you begin to see the zest and the amazing things that are in your day every single day and appreciate the little moments. So I hope you understand a little bit more about what orgasmic meditation is about and why is it given in phases, is because I need to guide you as to becoming aware of what are your challenges, what are your obstacles, what is the character that you are playing, and how can you shift it so you no longer get stuck in this roller coaster ride of emotional shifts, which happens every day, throughout the month, throughout the year, and can make you feel like you're hitting rock bottom a lot of times. And let me tell you, I've hit rock bottom many, many times. But one of the things that I want to say before we close this quick video off is that we all hold stress in one particular area of our body, and it is not an area that's really talked about very often, and it tends to be avoided in general because most people don't want to talk about genitalia and orgasms and sex. And it is a very, very important part of how we relieve stress, of how our bodies were created to relieve stress and where the information is held. So our lymphatic system is connected and interconnected to our reproductive system. And we drain fluids and lymphatic fluids and stress out of our body and toxins through our reproductive tract, right? But we all hold inflammation and stress in this area. And the more it builds up and the more emotions we hold, we get more stress and inflammation in our pelvis. And I'm going to show you here the general area of where we hold the stress. So in men, the stress is held in this area, which I go deeper into when we are talking in my classes. And in women, it's in the same general area back here behind the uterus. We hold a lot of stress and inflammation there. And what happens is, as we begin to deal with the stress and synergistically work on things using the strategies that I teach. You can actually relieve the stress much easier and actually get the toxins out of your body, relieving your body from the physical stress as well as the emotional stress, which is why I call it synergistic, because we're working on both at the same time. So I hope that this brought some insight as to what I am venturing to teach you. And I hope you check it out because it's going to be a lot of fun. And who doesn't want to feel better every single day and enjoy the joyful moments and really appreciate their life with all the gifts that it has? This is Coachdianevich. Aloha.